All right, so lesson one, first of all, you're going to learn how to hold the whistle. And basically, we're using our thumbs behind the first hole. If we look at the number of holes we've got here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, putting our thumbs behind around about the first and the fourth holes. Let's just start with the very lowest hole here. Use the fingertip or your first pad of your finger on the bottom hole. And then when the next hole up, we're going to use our middle pad to actually cover that hole. So we're getting this cross, we're using straight fingers, not fingertips like you would on some other instruments or even the high Irish whistle. We're using the pads of our fingers. So first pad on the bottom hole, second pad on the next two. Then the same applies to the left hand on the top three holes. Use your first pad on your ring finger, then your second pad, then your first pad. So just move them around so they feel comfortable and covering the holes. Every time your fingers are not completely covering the holes, you get an overblown sound, and I'll show you what that's like. In fact, you'll probably hear that sound many times throughout these lessons because it's so easy to do. So let's try that, covering all the holes. Use those, you get your thumbs behind, and you've got your two ring fingers, and then on the first pads, then your next pads there following. So let's try just getting that fully closed and breathe really gently. Now it's amazing how much control you have to actually apply to get the fully closed low D. This is a low D Irish whistle, and to actually get that low note, you've got to breathe very gently into it. So let's try that. It's pretty simple, hey? So what's taken me a little bit of time to get used to is the fact that you don't have as much sensitivity in the pads of your fingers, like at least the second pad, compared to what you have in your fingertips. So actually getting used to that feeling of the pads on my fingers covering the holes well enough. I'll show you what it's like when they're not quite covering it correctly. Can you hear that sound? So if it sounds like that the first time you play, it's actually okay. We all go there and we all do it regularly. So just move those fingers around so that you can feel them covering the holes. So something else, as you go higher, as we start to take some of these fingers off, you have to breathe stronger. Then as we go up another octave, you've got to breathe stronger again. So it will take some air pressure as time goes on, but try starting just to get that low, fully covered, all the holes covered sound, clear sound happening. One other technique I'll just point out at this point is what's called tonguing. So to get a bright edge to the start of the note, use your tongue to go t on the beginning of it, like this. Be really gentle with it, because when you tongue, it wants to jump up an octave. So that's low D. To get to the next octave up, you tongue it a bit stronger, and you're right there. So you can just blow into it, or tongue it. Get the little ta, ta, ta happening on the starts of the notes. End of lesson 1.